Okay, welcome back to my channel. This next project is going to be a little more involved, and I don't even have a clue as to how I'm going to pull this off yet, but I've got a couple ideas and we're going to start trying some things. So this is the tailpipe for my exhaust. Comes out the back of the bus and it runs through here in between my fuel tank and the air conditioning condensers. And if we keep sliding up under here, goes in front of the fuel tank, and then up and under the frame and in front of the bus. I'll show you that. Okay, now on the front side of the bus, I see it comes up and over the frame and along my drive shaft, and then from here it runs all the way up front to the muffler. So what we need to do here is figure out a way to cut off this exhaust pipe back here behind these storage boxes in front of the tires, which I think I can do by just removing that clamp and then taking my Sawzall with a metal blade and cut it off here where I need to. And then I'm hoping I can repurpose some of those bends and union them back together with some clamps where needed, and that to route it out this little gap here between the storage boxes and my tires on the passenger side. So the reason for doing this project is twofold. I want that exhaust coming out the side of the bus for two reasons. And actually I was hoping, when I was searching for this bus before I bought it, to find a bus that already had side exhaust. This one had rear, and it's the only thing that I didn't like, and it's modifiable, so I'll do it myself. But the reason I want it coming out the side, twofold. First, I'm going to be towing a car behind this, and I don't want the exhaust suit spraying directly on the hood of my car. By having the exhaust come out the side, that eliminates that problem. And second, this area in here between my fuel tank and the air conditioning condensers is where I want to mount my gray water tanks, and that exhaust pipe is right in the way. So that's the reason for doing that. I'm not quite sure what we're going to get into as I start unbolting all this stuff and pulling it down, and hopefully I don't have to take it to a shop to have done. I've never done exhaust work. I really don't want to try to weld on this, which is how most exhaust work is done. So I'm hoping I can just use existing pieces and clamp things together and have it be okay, but time will tell. I'm going to put the camera down here and grab a couple of wrenches and start disconnecting stuff and see where we go. All right, we're back for another day. I didn't make it nearly as far the other night as I wanted to. Surprise, surprise. Exhaust is now out. This was a giant pain, as I anticipated. These clamps that hold the individual pieces together, this inner one here, these are actually tack welded on there, so I was not able to undo those. I actually had to cut this whole thing out with a Sawzall with a metal blade, and then I actually had to cut it several more times than I wanted to, because where it makes these bends to go up and over the axle, I couldn't get the thing dragged back out of there. They're just too tight to work with, so I had to cut it in 4 pieces, so that took a little more time than I was hoping for, but it's all out. My next issue, or debate, I guess, more an issue, is these are actually 45-degree bends. I wasn't sure, laying underneath the bus and looking up if they're 45 or 90. I was hoping they were closer to 90, but they're not. They're 45. So in order to make that right turn under here, you can see somewhere, there it is, where I cut off the exhaust. I did cut it off earlier than I want, so I've got some room to play with, so I'll have to make one more cut under there once I get my lengths figured out. But in order to make that essentially 90-degree turn to come out in between the wheel and the storage boxes, that does have to be 90 degrees. Or I can clamp together 2 of these 45s, which would be a much more gradual turn, which is probably better, but it's going to involve a little more work. The other challenge with these is getting a straight cut. When you're working with a Sawzall with a 7-inch blade on it to cut through this 4-inch exhaust, it's not easy to cut square. All right, for the last half hour or so, I've been playing with the pieces I've got and trying to mock up a layout here. the dual 45s would work, and the lap bands that I have, it's just a stainless 4-inch lap band, would get the job done for making the connections. I've got another one of those on the workbench, but I don't like doing the dual 45s. The lengths between bends are going to have to be very precise in order to get through this fairly narrow opening between my axle and the storage boxes. And making 4 connections instead of 2 with a 90, there's just way too much room for error. I'm gonna have to make a lot of extra cuts. I don't like it. And for 70 bucks, I can order a 4-inch stainless 90 degree and put it right where I need to on the existing tailpipe. Take a piece of straight pipe that I have that came off the back here, you know, just with 2 connections and be done. And I've got plenty of extra hanging brackets. This one came off the back end of the bus back there. There's another one up there that I can try to get out. I don't think it's going to be in the way. Actually, I can show it to you, of where I need water tanks. So that one right there could come out. There was another one further back. That's the one on the ground that I showed you. That one came out super easy. But these are actually held in place with a bolt and nut. And with the fuel tank right behind that frame rail, I can't really get a wrench in there very easily to take that bolt out. I would have to go up and over the, the top in here to try to get a wrench down in there and hit that. So I could pull that one down if I need to. I've got a couple of generic clamps and hangers that I just got from the farm fleet that are up in the cab that I can use. So I think I've got plenty of stuff for the most part. I'm just going to order that stainless 90. These are the just universal strap hangers I bought. So those will get the job done. And we'll get that 90 ordered and put on there. It'll be here in 2 days. I actually just ordered it. So that'll hopefully finish this project out without too much headaches. I think these 45s are just going to be too big of a headache. So I'll pick you back up in a couple of days. Okay, very last thing here before I call it a day while we're waiting on that elbow to come in is I am going to have a hole in the bumper where the exhaust used to come out of. So I just took a scrap piece of metal I have. It was already bent at a 90-degree angle with that little lip there. This actually was a heat shield inside one of the party buses for one of the heaters that we took out and took apart. So just cut it down to size, and I just hit it with some self-etching primer, and we'll wait for that to dry. I'll flip it over, do the air side, and then paint it, and then we will rivet it in that hole. Okay, we're back for another day of fun in the sun here. That 90-degree elbow I ordered for the tailpipe is in. So I've got the first coupler here, the 90 there, some 9/16 wrenches. I just cut off the edge of this tailpipe. As you can see, somewhat kind of flush with where the bend is going to go. So we're going to do a test fitting here. It's always fun to try to work underneath the bus and record at the same time. So we got this coupler on here. I am going to paint these couplers with a rust preventative eventually, but we're going to install them first. I'm not going to try to paint all that ahead of time. And here's my 90-degree bend. And as you can see, that lines up. Go underneath the drive shaft here. Lines up pretty good with where I want to go. So we're going to tighten this up, and then we're going to cut the piece to go out to the side, and then we'll see what we have to do for hanging brackets. Okay, here's the shot from the passenger side of the bus. So that 90 is coming right where I want it. We'll kind of square up here a little bit. So that you see it's coming right through where I want it. I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece off of the original tailpipe to 31 inches, which will get me right to the outside edge of the bus here. Over here at the workbench, I got the old piece of tailpipe. This is the one that went from the axle on the left side all the way out through the bumper here on the right side. It still has an original clamp on it yet that I haven't taken off, so it works good for securing it in the vise. And I got the Sawzall with the bimetal blade. I got this thing marked at 31 inches. And I got my safety glasses on, so we're going to go ahead and cut this and get it installed. Okay, not quite like butter, but not too bad. Those blades are brand new, so nice and sharp. And so I took the end this was the original end that popped through the bumper. You can see it's kind of blackened with soot a little bit. There's no rust in there. It looks pretty good. I wanted to use the end because this is already a non-sharp edge, which is good for sticking out the side of it. That's why I picked this instead of a section out of the middle. One less cut and nice clean end already. So let's go install this. All right, got that fitted into place. Just using some random shop parts to hold that up for the time being. And can't really see from under there, but I'm gonna crawl under there and tighten up them clamps. And then we will get to doing some hangers. All right, final clip for this episode. Exhaust is all in and clamped in place. So this is the elbow going out to the, kind of hard to see there, but going out to the tailpipe that exits the side of the bus. So this is nice and clamped down on this elbow. And then I've got the thing clamped to the frame. The clamps I took off the rear end of the bus were the wrong length. It was too far away from the exhaust to the frame, so I had to do a little fabricating. So that's just a piece of all thread, double nutted through the frame and then into one of the existing clamps, which is good enough. There's another clamp just on the air side of the hanger here for my drive shaft. So I'm not really worried about this one too much in terms of strength. I just want a little bit of extra support there. And then harder to see because it's dark in there is the other exhaust hanger that's actually then bolted up to one of the cross members of the frame and then drops down onto the exhaust clamp that you can kind of see there on the edge. And then here's the shot from outside the bus on the passenger side. Again, you can kind of, pardon my bad lighting, it's well after dark out here. You can see the exhaust hanger coming down. So it's all in place, looks good. I'm gonna fire it up quick and just make sure it's all nice and snug and not leaking, and see just with the vibrations of the engine at well idle what it does. So we'll check that quick and then call this a day. All right, so last clip, got the engine running. This is putting out good exhaust. I crawled under there a minute ago and checked up at where I made all those junctions with the elbow. No leaks there. It's looking good, sounds good. I think we're in good shape and we're gonna call this a project. So thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.